My name is Sheng Wang. Sometimes when I tell people that, they're like, wow, that is perfect for pursuing stand-up comedy. I'm like, yeah, but first I was trying to pursue childhood. You know, it's tough when kids call you names. It's always worse when they just use your name. Even recently, I was making a reservation for this hotel in Arkansas. I gave the guy information, it was all good. I told him my name, I said Shane Wang. He said, that's funny. You don't sound like that. I was like, my bad. I'm sorry if I don't meet your racist expectations. I'm sorry if I don't sound like a complete stereotype, Arkansas. You, on the other hand, doing a really good job. I live in Chinatown because that's where I got assigned. There's a restaurant in my neighborhood. There's a restaurant called Sheng Wang, spelled exactly like my name. All my friends insist that I have to go eat there. Secretly, I agree, but I don't know why. I don't know what kind of fantasy we expect to pan out. Like, I walk in there, everyone freaks out. They're like, oh my God, it's him. We've been waiting for you. The prophecy has begun. I look around, there's baby pictures of me everywhere. My parents are immigrants, and sometimes it's very hard for me to think about it. Like the whole idea of immigration sounds crazy. You know, like, can you imagine leaving home right now? You just leave all your friends, all your family, you move to a completely foreign country just so your offspring can have more opportunities. And then your kid goes into stand-up comedy. You're like, dang, son, that's too much opportunities. We didn't come here for that. We wanted you to not work in a factory. We didn't want you to follow your dreams, you Single currently, but I think it's okay, because I think there's times in your life where you gotta focus on you, your studies, your pursuits, what have you. But there is a time limit. You get to a point where you start to question, you're like, what's up with my soulmate? What's up with true love? Is this gonna pan out? And then you get to another point where you start to doubt, you're like, what's the point? What's the point of trying? What's the point of going out, wasting my money? What's the point of pants and hygiene? And I realized not only have I given up on the dream, I gave up in my dreams. It's disturbing. But imagine, right? I'm asleep, I'm having a fantasy room full of beautiful ladies somewhere, and I'm there looking incredibly handsome, doing all the right things, making eye contact, being all rude and sexy. And right when I'm about to make my move, right when I'm about to go in for the kill, I'm like, man, this. I'm just gonna fly home on my dragon and go masturbate in my castle. I feel like I'm getting older only because I got a lot of friends that are starting to get married. It's weird, because a lot of my female friends, I think they're very progressive, liberal-minded folks, but when it comes to the engagement ring, they want a very traditional, big-ass rock. I understand ladies love diamonds because diamonds are forever. True, but so is a plastic bag. Because my love is eternal. Because my love will never break down. I want to give you this non-biodegradable grocery sack. Don't be sad, girl. It's got like 50 carrots in there. You know, like I'm trying to be a better person. This year, my goal is to black out less. It's a very difficult goal to track. I think I'm succeeding, but I might just not remember failing. I recently went out with my girlfriend. I decided she was gonna be the designated driver, but I did not bother to tell her about my decision. I just went ahead and got crazy sloppy. Because actions speak louder than gibberish. It got to that point where forget about driving, folks. Forget about driving. I might not make the cut as a passenger. It was gonna be a challenge to keep my body inside my car and my insides inside my body. We went to a drive-thru, and she had to keep locking the doors to stop me from getting out because I told her, everybody lined up in the cars behind us, they all want to see me dance. After she protected me from getting hate crimed on, we went home. And I immediately took off my jeans because I'm about to eat 7 jalapeno poppers. And I'm not gonna dignify that kind of meal with pants. But then my girl noticed a large wet spot on my boxers. She got upset. She was like, "Did you pee yourself?" I said the coolest thing you could say in that situation. I said, "Probably." I also know I'm getting older because I was watching this MILF porn and it just seemed like regular porn. MILFs used to look like my friend's mom. Now they just look like my friends. Which only adds to the ongoing peer pressure to make me want to settle down. You know how weird it is to watch pornography and think to yourself, gosh, I guess it is time for me to start a family. Yeah, I want to raise children too, just like this MILF. One night, I was at the Milwaukee airport waiting for a connection flight. And I had this crazy idea because I found this random can of tuna in my backpack. And I was like, let's make this a heartier meal. I'm gonna put that in my salad, right? Because it's protein and it's gonna fill me up, but it's also smelly, unorthodox behavior. Like, no one does that. And I was worried because if you're white and you're weird, you're a weirdo. But if you're an Asian dude at the Milwaukee airport and you start to step out of line, then you just created a whole bunch of new stereotypes for your people. Folks are like, look at that guy. They all do that. So I was paranoid. I was really, concerned that people were watching me, judging me, thinking I was being weird or cheap or whatever. And then I went to this whole new level of fear. I got worried that people thought I was eating cat food. For no reason, I just was sure people were thinking like, hey, that Chinese dude is putting Friskies in his Caesar salad. Everybody take a picture. Put it on the internet and tag Asia. A friend of mine told me the other day, my friend said, he said to me, hey, you need to grow a pair. Grow a pair, bro. It's when someone calls you weak, but they associate it with the lack of testicles. Which is weird, because testicles are like the most sensitive things in the world. If you suddenly just grew a pair, you would be a lot more vulnerable. If you want to be tough, you should lose a pair. If you want to be real tough, you should grow a vagina. Those things can take a pounding.